You know what actually kind of sucks here is on this channel, I have to subscribe to a bunch of reactionaries so I can actually, farm them for content. So I have things to react to that are ridiculous. So as a result, I get recommended, like, garbage that I don't actually want to watch on a regular basis because it's just awful. It's just, like, the dumbest shit. So I constantly have to, like, switch between accounts because of that. But I did find a fun thing that I wanted to do a little bit of a react to reactionaries on, and that's the Tucker Carlson. He dropped this a month ago. I gotta watch this because it's just so racist, and just from the title, I know that this is gonna be some very juicy non-inflammatory content here. All right. Oh man, let's see if I can bring this up. Hold on. Okay. Oh, how China and the UN are fueling the invasion of America. I am very excited to see what is gonna be. It's just gonna be. This is an hour long, right? So you guys remember, like, the senator, how he was just like, "Are you or have you ever been a member of the Chinese Communist Party?" It's gonna be an hour of this, and I'm here for it. So fucking let's go.
Following any of the stories over the past several years about the movement of hundreds of thousands, millions of people illegally into the United States, you may have come across the phrase Darien Gap. It's never really explained what it is. It's a physical place. It's between Panama and Colombia. And it is a gap in the Pan American Highway. In other words, if you want to get from South America to North America overland, you have to go through the Darien Gap, but it's very difficult. And yet, last year, at least 520,000 migrants crossed it to come here. How did that happen? What is it? What is going on in the Darien Gap?
I like how he has the TCN over here, like Tucker Carlson News Network, Tucker Carlson News. Bro, what is this reactionary shit that he's talking about? Okay. So it's like, just like a physical location is the Darien Gap. First of all, and bro, 500,000 people migrating to the United States is not a problem. Like, at all. Like, the United States economy is based on exploiting workers. So, like, there's not enough. There's literally not enough workers being exploited right now, right? Okay, so damn it, this chair got messed with. Okay. So if there wasn't a constant influx of immigration coming in from the southern border, there just would not be enough labor to keep this country going. And what happens is major corporations, and they've been caught doing this. Actually, I'm going to show this to you. Have been caught using migrant workers, and then instead of paying them at the end of the month, they'll hire them on, like illegal aliens, under the pressure that, hey, you come work for us, we won't, like, call INS, or it's ICE now, but it used to be INS when I was growing up. And then they do the work, and then they call ICE and get them deported so they don't have to pay them. Like, that's a common thing that happens. What was the site for it? Hold on. Alright, this is one of the reports I've read before a while ago. I can't find the one that was specifically on the workers that were hired at a company and then immediately fired after they completed their work. Fired. They immediately called ICE to get them deported, basically just to exploit them for labor. So they got hurt at work when they got deported. At age 31, Nixon Arias got a profile, and this is by Michael Grabel and Howard Berkes. from 2017 on NPR. At age 31, Nixon Arias cut a profile similar to many unauthorized immigrants in the United States. A native of Honduras, he had been in the country for more than a decade and had worked off and on for a landscaping company for 9 years. The money he earned went to building a future for his family in Pensacola, Florida. His Facebook page was filled with photos of fishing and other moments with his 3 boys, 3, 7, and 8. But in November 2013, that life began to unravel. The previous year, Arias had been mowing the median of Highway 59, just over the Alabama line, when his riding mower hit a hole. Throwing him in the air, he slammed back in his seat, landing hard on his lower back. Arias received pain medication, physical therapy, and steroid injections through his employer's workers' compensation insurance, but the pain in the back made even walking or sitting a struggle. So his doctor recommended an expensive surgery to implant the device that sends electrical pulses to the spinal cord to relieve chronic pain. 6 days after that appointment, the insurance company suddenly discovered that Arias had been using a deceased man's social security number and rejected not only the surgery, but all of his past and future care. Desperate, Arias hired an attorney to help him pursue the injury benefits that Florida law says all employees, including unauthorized immigrants, are entitled to receive. Then one morning, when he dropped off his 2 boys at school, Arias was pulled over and arrested while his toddler watched from his car seat. So there's a lot of stories like this. Not as much reported, but this happens quite often, where people do work, they get injured, and then they get deported before the employer can actually take care of them. Or, and the way that it's framed here is that, it was just discovered that he was using a deceased person's social security number. Like, yeah, that sucks, man. Like, life be rough, and sometimes people be doing stuff that isn't necessarily the most ethical, but, like, what was he supposed to do if he couldn't get, employment in any other way, and he was already here? Like, the answer of just deport him and he should come here legally is ridiculous. That doesn't work. Like, we don't have enough people to do the jobs that we have, so just deporting all the people that are here illegally doesn't actually solve anything. It actually makes the problem worse for everybody. A better solution would be just to, like, legitimize them. Just to, like, okay, it puts them in positions of extreme vulnerability to, like, violent crime and shit like that. So when you think about it, if somebody's illegal and they witness a crime, so if somebody is here illegally and they witness a crime, they are less likely to report on that crime because they might be deported right there, right at that moment of time when they report the crime to the authorities, right? And that could be a regular citizen or a regular person just living their life, trying to get on, and they're risking getting deported and their lives being basically ruined. So it's not like a easy fix. Like, you can't just use catchphrase slogans like, they should come here legally. Okay, well, that's not always the case. Like, you have to actually be a human and think about the situations that people, like the real life situations that you have been, that have been difficult for you, and the real life situations that other people have been that have been difficult for them. Okay, just because somebody's from a different country, from the southern border of the United States, does not change the fact that they're going to experience life just like anybody else. Okay, so if they find themselves in a situation where they literally can't work, they can't get a job, they can't find money, and they're just their lives are shit, they're gonna try and go to the place that they know. They're gonna go north and try to make life a little bit better for themselves and their family. That is not inherently a bad thing. If you say that, like, oh well, they broke the law, they're criminals, that's not a moral judgment. It was criminal for people to hide Jews in Nazi Germany. That's not an argument for morality, right? When you make like these, like DeSantis, when his campaign made the illusion that he would have, like, what was he saying? He had SEAL Team 6 on, like, going into going on the border and like going over to Mexico and just start like shooting people that they suspect that are cartel members and like shooting people dead at the border. I think that's what his words were. That's just insane. You're talking about people, right? The concept of countries and borders, like there's a huge debate that you can have there already, but like it's an insane position to have, right? If you get rid of all the people that are here illegally, the country's going to economically collapse. So how do you solve that situation? You can't, right? Like, other than legitimizing them, there is no actual solution. There's no solution of like deporting them. That's a stupid thing to do, because then your economy collapses. So if we can just get like the people in government to acknowledge that these people are here and they deserve human rights, because that's all you're doing. You're just withholding human rights at this point, because they're here, they're working. What are you going to do? Like, are you going to kick them out? Because if you kick them out, like, people aren't just going to step up and fill the plate. Like, there's not enough people for the jobs that are required to do the things. Like, do you like your fruit and vegetables being the price that they are? Because if you deport every single person that is here illegally, it's going to skyrocket. You're going to have like Weimar Germany levels of inflation, where people are like just wheelbarrowing baskets of money to buy a piece of bread. It's not a realistic thing. The only real solution, outside of like your emotional reactionary response of, well, they broke the law and they know that they broke the law, bro, that's not a moral judgment. That's just like a statement of fact, and we should probably just get over that, right? Because our society is functioning with them here, and the only thing that's happening right now is they're at higher risk for violent crimes being committed towards them, because people know that they won't call the authorities to report if there's a crime committed against them. Because let's say you get assaulted and you're here illegally. Are you going to call the cops? Because you're rolling the dice, right? Like, you're rolling the dice whether or not you're going to be deported and possibly put in a worse situation than you were previously. So you pretty much just say nothing, and then that happens millions of times over. That's we have a underclass of people in this country, and the Republican narrative is to view them as, but we really want to get rid of them. It's like, bro, your country is dependent on them, right? Why don't you just give them some basic human rights, some basic worker rights, and just move on with your day? No, they're just ghouls. That's all they want to do. So let's see where we go into this. I love how this says how China and the UN are fueling the invasion of America, and we're already talking about southern migration into the United States.
It's the key, in some ways, to the story.
Okay, I just realized this. The framing is actually extremely racist, because with that being the opener, he's saying that people trying to come into America is an invasion. That's fucking wild, bro.
Immigration story. Well, almost no one has taken the time to go to the Darien Gap and find out what's happening there. Leave it to a world-renowned biologist to do that, not a journalist, a biologist.
I'm sure he's going to have some very interesting things to say. And by interesting, I mean probably fucking insane. Dog. That's wild. The UN bro, I thought he was going to go into like some Wolverines type of shit, like Red Dawn type of territory. No. He's talking about like Mexicans. Are you fucking serious? China and the UN? Like, what the fuck does that have to do with people migrating from southern countries to the United States? That nothing. But that's an invasion, bro. That's what he's saying. It's an invasion. I thought it was gonna be like, yeah, I really thought that the Red Dawn movie, how they remade it with like North Korea, is actually China, and it's actually something we should be concerned about. No, dude, he's talking about fucking Mexicans. Are you fucking serious?
That would be Dr. Bret Weinstein, who is the host, along with his wife Heather, of the Dark Horse podcast. And he was just there last week because he wanted to see it for himself. We're honored to have him join us now to tell us what he found.
Dog, I love that he got fucking Bret Weinstein, a biologist, right? Oh god. So they're gonna do racial realism. They're gonna fucking do racial realism about immigration for the next hour. Oh man, I picked a nice one. This is gonna be.
Why, thank you so much.
Very good to be back with you, Tucker.
So can you? That was my feeble attempt to ad lib an explanation of the Darien Gap, but can you a little more precisely tell us what it is?
Sure, you did a pretty good job. The Pan American Highway is a road that literally goes from Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, to the southern tip of South America. It is unbroken, but for a 60-mile stretch between Panama and Colombia. It is not a canyon, as many people imagine the gap must be. It's an impenetrable piece of jungle, and the road has never been completed there, not because it's technically impossible to do, but because the combination of the difficulty of putting a road through that jungle and the danger of doing so has meant that North and South America have been separated in this way for the entire history of that road.
So you often hear people say it's a perilous journey to get across that 60 miles of the Darien Gap. Is that a fair assessment?
It's beyond fair. Let's just say I did my graduate work not far from Darien. I did it in central Panama, and the jungle in the Darien Gap is someplace that one there's some story that's careful preparation piece together.
Oh, okay. I just realized this. I didn't notice this before. The Tucker Carlson encounter. He's got a little symbol, the Tucker Carlson encounter, on the bottom right-hand corner. Like, meeting Tucker, like, it's an encounter. Like, what is it? Encounters of the Fifth Kind. You know, like an alien. It's like, oh shit. I ran into Tucker Carlson, like that's a memorable experience because it was unlike any other. They just oh god, because the dude was just so freaking weird.
And he's been physically traveling to all of its various epicenters and showing people. So,
and that is the story of mass migration.
Mass migration, I now think, is a piece of it. Now, when I went to Panama, I had a hard time explaining to myself why I was going, because
Those are the best trips, aren't they?
Yes,
They are.
the serendipity of it is important, but it was hard for me to justify in my head going to such a place when it wasn't going to change. You know, the videos he had sent me were quite clear. So what was it I was going to learn by standing there that I couldn't also learn by looking at these things? Well, I'm very glad I went, because it did actually radically change my understanding of what I was looking at.
He was radicalized, people. Oh gosh. Okay. What were you trying to like understand better about immigration? Bro, you're a biologist. What are you okay, well, not only is okay, so like Bret Weinstein, for people who don't know, is just like one of the people that's like on the intellectual dark web, or was considered to be on the intellectual dark web, right? He's incredibly reactionary, and he does a lot of race realism shit. So, what is the purpose of like a biologist going to Panama to report on the migration crisis? Like, that's an insane thing, right? Like, I'm not seeing the context of this man is just fueled by his racism. he just really, really wants you to know about like people coming in. Like he's obsessed with it. This sorry, I'm still getting over a cold. This is awesome. Okay, so
At for reasons I better understand now, one needs to see the physical relationship between the various sites that he showed us, in order to really piece together what this story is.
So you went, if I can summarize
What story? Bro, you are not a reporter. You are a fucking biologist. Oh my... What is Bret Weinstein? He's a fucking biologist, right? What is Bret Weinstein? Politically... Bro, he is not fucking liberal. I mean... Yeah, I guess you could call you're like, yeah, he's a liberal that happened to have gotten cut recently. That's what happened, right? He was a liberal, and now he's bleeding. And you know what happens when liberals bleed, right? That's what happened with him. Is he an evolutionary biologist? Is that what he is? As an evolutionary theorist, bro, he's the scientific racial realist. That's what he is. What are you doing in South America, homie? What are you doing there? What? You are not a reporter. What is... This is an insane topic for you. For you specifically. This like old British people, man. Like okay, you have the idea of like the British colonizer, the guy that like... He has the fucking hat. You know what I'm talking about, right? The British colonizers, the explorers, they have the hat, and they're just going around and just like in like the 1800s, going to different countries and just like describing people in the most racist ways possible and just making books out. He's doing that. That's what he's doing right now. Holy shit.
But I think you're saying because you're a researcher and you wanted to know what's actually happening.
The thing that gets de-emphasized when we talk...
You're a researcher. Carlson, yes, he is a researcher on... He's an evolutionary theorist. What are you researching in South America? Are you researching like a new frog that was recently discovered? Is that what's going on right now? What are we doing? I don't know. The title of the video tells me that you're not researching a frog, homie. It tells me that you're probably doing something incredibly unethical.
About high-quality science is the degree to which it is informed by well-tutored intuition. So I had a sense that I needed to see it for reasons that my conscious mind wasn't certain of at the time, and I followed that, and I'm very glad I did.
Follow your instincts, boy. That is the lesson of so many.
I love his little ads to it. Follow your instincts. God, you have to just picture Bret Weinstein with the little monocle and the explorer hat going on right now while he's talking, and Tucker Carlson just jumps in. Yeah, you just gotta follow your instinct, buddy. That's what. Yeah, I was just follow my instinct, which led me to Panama. Doing what, dude? Doing what are you doing there? Oh, God.
So what did you find, and what did you conclude?
Well, I concluded a number of things, and the whole thing was so mentally disruptive that I'm still in the process of unpacking what it was and debating with myself about what it means, but...
I love Carlson's fucking face. Holy shit. What... Oh, you found something disturbing, man. What did you find?
Some basics, but I do have to ask something of your audience. There's part of this that is just me reporting what I saw and what I learned from my...
Bro is not a reporter. Full stop. Like, what are you doing?
And others on our trip. And there's part of it that's me speculating, and I'm trying to do it as responsibly as...
Bro, I know you're about to speculate. Everything that's about to come out of his mouth is probably a speculation. And by I don't pre-watch any of these, okay? I know he's about to speculate. He's about to do some wild speculation. I guarantee you.
Possible, because a great deal hinges on what the actual explanation for what we looked at is. So when I'm speculating, I'm going to be careful to tell you that that's what I'm doing, and people should... treat hypotheses
right.
as hypotheses.
Yeah,
and nothing.
I believe you. I believe you. Why do I believe you? Because you're a self-described liberal, right? Oh, liberal, progressive, left progressive. Bro, do words mean anything anymore? How is Bret Weinstein a fucking progressive? I don't get that. Like, words have meanings, right? You can't just, like, say shit. That's so wild. Oh, man. Like, if Bret Weinstein's I guess Trump's progressive, right? Trump's, like, a liberal, basically. He's a liberal progressive, right? The fuck?
Nothing more. But the first place that this trip really changed my understanding was I went down thinking that I was going to see a migration. And other people have called it an invasion. And there's something troubling to me about the tension between these two things.
By the way, you know that there's always framing. And okay, first of all, it sucks. Like, that people have to, like, traverse from South America by foot all the way to get here, right? And this picture is just a bunch of people chilling. But, like, the way that they're framing it is like, oh, these are desperate people. I don't know how they're going to frame it exactly, but I know that the usual framing is that these are, like, desperate people. Look how poor they are. Okay, first of all, I see a lot of Adidas. That's a nice shirts. You know, these aren't people that are like about to come into the country and be homeless. Like, these are people that have, like, a standard of living that they want to maintain and make better, right? But the way that they're going to frame it is always going to be, these are criminal people that have no standards of living. But whatever. Let's see where they go.
Things, which is it? And I came away with the sense that it's probably literally both. And the way that manifests is you have a massive movement of people through the Darien from Colombia. Now, I did not know when I went down. I now know that most of those people actually start in Ecuador. And the reason they start in Ecuador is that Ecuador has a policy where they don't require a visa. So people coming from all over the world can land in Quito, Ecuador, find their way through Colombia, move through the Darien, and if they survive it, which not...
Okay, we're getting into wild conspiracy there. Like, he promised me that he would say when he's speculating, right? That is wild speculation, because right now he's making the claim that people from all over the world are flying into Ecuador, and then they're doing this migration, and so we don't know who could be coming in. It could be anybody. It could be a Chinese communist, for maybe. I don't know. Maybe, bro. Maybe that's what's going on. Bro, he is speculating. This is a major fucking ass pull. He is not a fucking reporter. This is not real. He's just making this shit up. Like, does it probably happens sometimes, but why would people fly into Ecuador and then march their asses all the way up to they could just use a plane. If they're coming from a different country and they're flying, they could just land in America. Like, you understand the level of stupidity that he's not speculating. He's just reporting. He's not a reporter, but he's just reporting it. The level of fucking stupidity. Why? Why would you fly to Ecuador, get off, and then march all the way up to the United States? If you're planning on being here, like, without a visa or anything, you could just fly in here. You know that, right? Like, people do that all the fucking time. That's... Why would you do that? That's fucking insane, dog.
Not all of them do. They can then get relatively directly all the way through Central America into the U.S. But that's not all that's going on. So we went to several of the, I guess you would call them, transit camps. These are places where people who have come by whatever route to Darien where they recover if they're injured, and they have to accumulate money, because even if they settle out on their journey with enough money to buy a bus ticket to get them through Central America, by the time they've come through Darien, almost all of them have been robbed. And much worse, actually. People are being robbed, women are being raped, and lots of people are dying. The migrants talk about stepping over bodies in Darien, and for somebody with experience in these...
Okay, first of all, not a reporter. Secondly, okay, if people are coming from, like, let's say, war-torn countries or impoverished conditions where they literally cannot fly into America, and they're flying into Ecuador because for some reason that's like the game plan, okay? The solution is making immigration easier, right? Right? If you're legitimately concerned about people's welfare, or if they're coming from, like, war-torn areas, or, like, they're legitimate refugees, right? And there's a limit on how much refugees the United States is going to actually accept in a year, right? You should advocate to make those limits higher, or get rid of them altogether, so that doesn't happen. But, like, that's not going to be a solution that they propose. I already know it's not going to be something that they suggest. What are they going to suggest? Okay, if the situation, the material conditions that exist are people are coming from countries where they literally cannot come to America, if that is the actual situation that they are in, and they have to go to Ecuador, and then they are being treated horribly all the way up trying to go into America, okay, they're not going to suggest that, hey, we should make it easier for them. No, they're going to suggest that, actually, we need to make it harder to get into Ecuador. That's what's going to happen. That's what those are the next few talking points. That's going to happen. It's this. If you're pointing out a human travesty from the perspective that Bret Weinstein's going to point it out, you're not making things better. You're just using the facade of liberalism to be an asshole.
Kinds of jungles. It's not hard to see how, without a support network, the kinds of stuff that can happen in the jungle. You have all of these migrants from all over the world. Many of them are South American, but that is by no means the whole story. People are coming from the Middle East. We met Afghans. We met people from the Caribbean, Haitians. There are people from Yemen, Iran. It's shocking, really. This looks superficially like the migration of Central Americans that you and I remember from when we were kids.
Yes.
And there is some of that, but that's not the whole story. Now, there's a camp we went to called Canaan Membrillo. It's on the Canaan River at the town of Membrillo. And Canaan Membrillo, we were allowed to walk around at will, and we could interact with the migrants at will. We were allowed to take pictures. There was no concern about this. We just had to check in with the Senafront.
Okay, why did you have to go to Panama? Why did you have to go to Panama for this reporting? You could have just done a report on the immigration policies in the United States about why they're so bad, or why we're, like, restricting air travel to certain countries, like Haiti, for example, that they actually have to go through this course, right? So if this is an actual phenomena that's happening in mass that you are reporting on, why are you reporting on that as a issue of what's going on in Panama, and not an issue of there's U.S. policy that's forcing people to go through Ecuador all the way up? That seems to be what the problem is. But okay.
In the front is the Panamanian Border Authority. But once we had checked in, we were on our own, and people were interested in talking, including migrants. So we had many conversations with migrants. And these migrants, I have to tell you, when they come to the southern border of the U.S., they get through on the basis that they are political refugees. They aren't. When we talk to them in the transit camp,
There it is.
everybody tells the same story. They are fleeing economic collapse, and they are
There it is. And there's the framing I was saying is going to come up. So that right off the bat, he's going, they are fleeing economic collapse. They're not political refugees. So, again, it's straight going into the framing of, well, the issue is that they're coming at all. And not that it's gross. They're being gross. God damn it.
fleeing in the direction of what they perceive to be economic opportunity. And of course, in American law, these two things are very different. We protect people who are seeking political asylum, but we do not offer automatic economic asylum.
Okay, oh my god, even if you go off of your shitty framing, okay, should we change the law to allow for economic refugees? I don't think he's gonna say yes. I think he's gonna say, no, we should make it harder for them to even get to Ecuador.
And the reason for that is fairly clear, which is that in order to protect people economically, we end up robbing Americans.
That's why I said it's just fear-mongering. Dog, you're not robbing Americans. That's not happening. Bro, what do you think? What do you think is happening? Do you think people are fleeing economic disparity and they're coming here and they're going, let me just go and take the job of my local plumber or the local auto mechanic? No, dog. These people are undocumented. They can't get normal jobs like at Wendy's, okay? It's not happening. Okay? Maybe, okay, even if they could, there's so much fucking jobs out there. The reason that you don't want them to be legalized, you don't want them to get proper paperwork, citizenship even, is because then they would have workers' rights. And if they have workers' rights, then as a group, as all of the workers, they could actually get better conditions. But you don't want that because you're not an actual liberal. Actually, I don't know. Dude, sure, maybe you actually believe that you're a liberal. Maybe you really believe that.
Of their economic well-being, and that's just not something that people are entitled to, no matter how much compassion you may have for people fleeing Venezuela. It is not.
Bro, you are framing it like they're taking our jobs. That's it. You're doing the South Park bit from like the early 2000s. They're not doing that, homie. It's not happening. Okay? Like, no. Just, okay, first of all, if you have a job in America and you are a citizen, and it's like a trade job, right? Like you're in a union. If your company replaced you with undocumented workers, there would be massive repercussions for that, right? So, like, what are the undocumented workers doing? They're working like field jobs, homie. They're going. Who do you think is picking oranges, dog? Like, they're doing like so much of the menial labor that the price of is being kept so low that only undocumented workers will do them. So what happens if you give them documentation? What happens if you make them citizens, right? Let's say you make all the undocumented workers that have been here for like 5 years or a few years American citizens. What happens? Well, then they have workers' rights. Then they have human rights. Then you have to pay them a minimum wage. What does that mean? That means that all these jobs that are using undocumented labor, they all of a sudden have to pay like fair working prices, which means what are they going to do? Are they going to jack up the prices to unreasonable amounts? Well, they're going to try, but there would be massive backlash to that. So what ends up happening is these CEOs that are taking massive amounts of profits, like record profits, are going to actually have to give up some of their money that they're getting from these massive profits and make it so that people can actually make livable wages. So that when you are like, I'm unemployed, what can I do? There's only so many freaking Wendy's around here that I can go work at. It's like, well, you can be a field hand. Bro, no, they're paying like $2 an hour. I can't go be a field hand. Well, if they were paying like decent livable wages, and by the way, a field hand should be getting paid way more than minimum wage, right? Like the person that's out there picking oranges should not be getting minimum wage. They should be getting significantly more than minimum wage. That is a hard fucking thing to do, right? But they're getting paid less than minimum wage to do it. And why are they getting paid less than minimum wage to do it? It's because assholes like you are fear-mongering that, they're trying to take our jobs so that people don't, like, acknowledge them as humans and give them human rights. And we just, like, keep it out of our heads that these people are being treated as second-class citizens. Fuck, I hate this shit.
Our responsibility, especially not without some sort of a plan, an agreement about how many people are going to come through and in what way we're going to take care of them and how that's going to be paid for. We don't do that. But in any case, you get the same story from everybody. They're fleeing an economic crisis, and they're moving north, and many of them have terrible stories about what happened to them in the Darien Gap. So that's one thing. And you see, when you go into this camp, Canam Brio, you see the hallmark of...
The way that this is being framed is really fucking disgusting. Because they're framing it as like, I'm just being a compassionate liberal. I'm going to Ecuador, I'm going to Panama, and I'm seeing these migrants that are really suffering coming through here. Like, and they're not from Ecuador. They're from other countries like Haiti, and they're coming in. They're just getting robbed. It's crazy. I mean, and then they come in here and they try to steal Americans' jobs. Like the entire framing is, well, I'm just so compassionate about these people, but they are a danger to the average American. This is what they're doing. They're framing it as if this is like a bad thing, that these are bad people that you should be worried about that are going to come in and make it so that you can't afford rent, right? Like, no, dog, the reason you can't afford rent is because landlords exist, right? Like, what is the actual fear here? What is the actual fear-mongering shit? Like, just imagine for a second if your housing was taken care of. Right? If it was all government housing, everything, 100%, like you were just guaranteed to have a house. You're not going to be homeless in this country, right? If you were guaranteed to be able to get food, like you just have, everybody gets housing and a minimum food budget, or like a drop off of food, or you can just go pick up like a surplus of food, right? You're just guaranteed not to starve and not to be homeless, right? What more things are you worried about? Like they're like all beyond that, you can just like gain luxuries in life, right? Like people want to work for luxuries, but people aren't working for luxuries in this country. They're working to survive, right? So what do? You literally threaten their survival. You make these audacious claims about immigrants coming in from Haiti to Ecuador and then stealing our jobs. But I'm just reporting on it because I'm just such a compassionate liberal. And I'm just, the immigrants themselves, they're not even doing themselves any favors. They're really getting hurt in this entire process, right? Like the whole thing is so fucking disgusting. These people are actual fucking ghouls.
The international community, you see NGO emblems all over the place. Proudly American flags, paid for the water system, the toilets that are there. The United States government is facilitating this economic migration, and it's unmistakable, as is an organization called the IOM.
Oh my God. Okay, so the U.S. is doing something to alleviate, like, the horrible conditions of the people that are trying to get here. It's like, but why, though? Really, dog? I'm sorry. Obligatorily have to say this again. He is not a reporter. This man is an evolutionary theorist. That is what he is described as. Okay? This man is a modern-day race realist complaining about Haitians coming to America from Ecuador and doing it under the guise of a compassionate liberal that it's just awful what's going on over there. And then bringing up the fact that, like, and then also America is like funding their migration. Isn't that just awful? We're enabling them. He's doing we're enabling them. The argument of like, we're trying to be compassionate, but really our compassion is hurting them. We should be less compassionate. This is what he's saying right now. Holy fucking shit, dog.
Which is the International Organization of Migration. It's a branch of the UN. And if you read their charter, you will discover that this organization believes that migration is an inherently good thing, that it's always good. And so they see it as their job to bring it about, to facilitate it. And in this case...
Oh, man, we're about to get into the fucking title of this video, aren't we? The UN. They see immigration as a good thing. Bro, you're saying it like they're not right, though. You're saying it like they're wrong. Like that's not a correct assessment of like reality. Oh man, this is where we're gonna get off into like Chi-Com theory. Chi-Com theory.
Case, that's particularly tragic because their desire to induce people to migrate is causing people who are woefully unprepared for the Darien Gap to try to make that journey. And
see, he's doing the fucking thing. He's fucking doing it. He's going, they're woefully unprepared. It's like the UN is encouraging these poor people to try to come to America through Ecuador. And, they're suffering. Bro, let them just come here, homie. Like, what are you doing? Why aren't you making that point? Why aren't you saying, isn't it crazy that the U.S. government isn't letting them come here? Isn't it crazy that we're letting this shit happen, dog? No, you at not one point have made that. He's not going to make, because he's not an actual progressive. He doesn't actually give a shit about these people because he's not gonna suggest an actual solution.
The humanitarian tragedy is immense.
So the UN, of which the United States is, I think, the largest donor by far, is paying for this with the U.S. government.
Yep, apparently they are. Now, Panamanians are largely unaware. Some are aware that there's a migration, but in large measure, this migration, once it gets through...
Oh, man, I can't... I'm sorry, I'm still getting over it. Cool. I can't just let Tucker slide on that. Bro, this is just like the worst fear-mongering. He's just saying, like, hey, can you believe that our tax dollars are paying for it? They're paying with our tax dollars to steal your jobs. That's what you're doing right there. You're stealing our jobs. And also, it's hurting them in the process. It's all around just about what we should do. We should just put like bubbles. Like we should just get like domes, like glass domes, and drop them on all the poor countries. That's what we should do. We should just lock them for their own good. For their own good. They can't be trusted to immigrate anywhere because they might get hurt. Because we're not going to let them just immigrate here. No, they have to go all the way to Ecuador. And that's just a path they're not prepared for. So we should just bubble them into their countries and seal them to their fates. Oh, God. These guys are such ghouls.
Through the Darien Gap, board businesses, and effectively what I now understand is that all of the countries in Central America are effectively waving the migrants through because those migrants are not going to stop in these countries. As long as they keep going to the U.S., these countries are willing to remain silent about it. Now, in 1991...
And can you believe that the countries that they travel through aren't actively shooting at them? This is bizarre. This is just bizarre. Like, I would expect that when they're going through these South American countries, that the border security would engage with these migrants. This is just insane. They're not doing enough. Like, bro, why would they? Their governments are probably not fucking insane like you are, dog. Dude, again, why would they? What do you want them to, like, detain them in Ecuador? Why would the Ecuadorian government do that shit? Like, it doesn't make any sense. God damn. Like, again, you're just, oh man. And what a great frame too. He looks evil. He looks evil in this fucking frame.
Heather and I actually traveled the other direction through Central America, through all of the countries south to Costa Rica, and all of those borders are tightly controlled.
Oh, I've been, yeah.
And so it is very surprising to find those controls are effectively lifted here. That's clearly the result of a massive coordination and
bro is trying to, like, he's trying to, like, make the conspiracy music play in your head. That's what he's doing right now. He's speaking directly, like, clown to clown communication with other chuds and reactionaries, right? Like, the average Republican voter is looking at this and he instantly triggered the fucking conspiracy music, and it's like, oh, it's they're orchestrating. Dog, these people objectively want to get to the United States. Why are they going to make their own lives more difficult for their countries? It's like, no, just pass them through. They're going on the road. Like, that's just fucking common sense, dude. That's not a conspiracy. Like, that's not coordinated shit that you but the average chud, they just instantly is like, see, somebody's doing something. They're in charge. No, they're not, dog. That's just normal. That's just normal shit, right? Fuck.
Of course, it's resulting in a large migration. But what I was going to tell you about the fact that this migration doesn't appear to me to be just one thing is that we went to another camp called San Vicente. And everything in San Vicente is different than it was at Canaan Mambria. San Vicente, first of all, it's not a town. This is a camp that is built as a transit camp. It's built of containers and various objects to house people. And it is almost entirely Chinese. Now, there were Chinese folks. Chinese.
Bum, bum, bum. God damn it. Oh, shit. Okay. This is the part of the video they're going to get into. I don't know how much more I can take of this shit, dude. Like, this is just wild. He is doing all the fucking dog whistles. Like, I'm trying to point them out, too. Like, because this is deeply fucking racist. I don't know how else to fucking explain it. This is deeply fucking racist. Holy shit.
That's a long way from China.
It sure is. And what's more, in this camp...
That's a long way from China. God damn.
The rule that you're able to go in and walk around and talk to people is not in evidence. The Senate front.
He is not a reporter. How many times am I going to... I have to. This man is not a fucking reporter. He's a evolutionary theorist. He is a modern day race realist. That's what he's doing. Just the entire time he has said anything. Just imagine him with the British monocle and the fucking explorer's cap. Just that, and that's what he's doing, dog. That's what he's doing.
The Panamanian border control actually forbid us to go into the camp. So we had to stay on the outside of it. We were also forbidden to photograph it. So what photographs we have were taken.
They're trying to hide something. God damn it! He's going Alex Jones on. They're trying to hide us. They're hiding the camps. They won't let us take us pictures of the camps. So what's going on is, we got a couple pictures. But they wouldn't let us take us. They wouldn't let us take the pictures, right? Because these are deeply secretive pictures. What are they hiding? What are they hiding in the camps?
Overtly. But the most striking thing...
Wait, may I ask, is it the government of China? Do you believe that's funding this?
Oh, God damn it. Fuck. I'm torn. I am so torn between, like, hating this and wanting to click off, and then, like, some shit just drops, and I'm just like, but that's so fucking sick, dog. That was so fucking sick what he just did right there. You think it's the government of China that's funding this? God damn it. Oh, that's so sick. Okay. Oh, god damn it. I love that. I fucking love Tucker. That's so great.
Well, let me tell you the other thing I found, and then I think the answer to that will become clearer. Outside of the San Vicente camp, the Chinese migrants are, you can interact with them.
Dog, he's gonna fucking entertain it. He's gonna fucking entertain it. I fucking can't. He's like, well, let's get back to that, because first of all, the migrants around bro, he's gonna entertain what Tucker just said. God damn it. Oh, this is so, he is not a fucking reporter. Again, this is not a reporter. But Tucker Carlson is apparently a journalist, right? But he's a journalist. Oh, god damn it. Oh, I fucking hate that. Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm getting over a cold. I got over a cold, and it affects my voice, so I still have a cough left over. But god damn it, I wish I wasn't, because this is gonna make me fucking cough.
There are a couple of shops where they go to buy water or snacks or whatever, and so you can interact with them at those places. They are the opposite of forthcoming. They have no interest in talking.
Yeah, because you're a fucking weirdo. Well, they weren't very talkative to me when I approached them to ask them, hey, are you a fucking Chinese Communist Party member? Yeah, no shit, dog. They don't want to fucking talk to you. You're a fucking weirdo. Nobody wants to talk to you. You're just walking up on people trying to buy a burrito. Like, god damn it. Imagine being like just a fucking a Chinese person on vacation, like a legitimate citizen of China on vacation, and fucking Bret Weinstein walks up to you and fucking asks, "What are they doing at those camps?" Oh fuck! That's so good. That's so fucking good. Oh no, dog. Of course they're not. You're a fucking weirdo.
To outsiders, and I've been to dangerous places before. I've been to places where people fear their government and can't talk to you because they feel it's not safe. This didn't feel like that at all.
Yeah, no shit, because they're not afraid of their government. They're afraid of you, the weirdo walking up to them and going, hey, what's going on in those camps? I fucking know you know. I know you know what's going on in those camps, bucko. Fuck, dog. Oh, it's like, it's not satire, though. They fucking mean this shit. Like, he's dead ass serious. Like, you could play some dramatic music. Like, I don't know, man. Tucker would have played some dramatic music in the background. Like this is a serious thing. They're talking about this seriously. This is not a bit. They're not doing this as a joke. That's the fucked up thing, right? I'm having a good time. I'm laughing my ass off because this is so fucking ridiculous. But then internally, I have to stop and go, oh fuck, these people are serious and people take them serious. So like I'm laughing and then I like, fuck, like, you know, it kind of hurts too, because it's like there's a lot of people that believe this guy, like face value, that are not looking at him and going, you are just a fucking ridiculous piece of shit. Like that's the only reaction that you should have to this piece of shit.
This felt like people who did not want to share information because it would be a mistake to do so. And what's more,
yes, it would be a mistake to do so, because look at what you're doing, dog. You are literally on Tucker Carlson, fear-mongering Chinese immigrants. They were fucking right. Like, what? God damn, no shit they would be worried about talking. Bro, it's not like you're not famous. Like, they probably fucking recognized you and were like, that's the race realist. He's gonna try to measure my fucking skull. That's probably what they thought. You know? Yeah, no shit. But he's just dropping these bars. He's dropping fucking bars. When I say bars, I mean like the stupidity, right? Like, in his head, he's dropping bars right now. He's not, though. He's just dropping fucking idiocracy. Fuck. But, like, in his own head, and, like, and the average chud, they're just like, this shit goes so fucking hard, dog.
There was an incident where
fuck.
who has lived in China, he's been all over the world, and he tried to start up a conversation with a guy who claimed to be from Korea, and Michael tripped him up and got him to speak Chinese, and then
That's all I can fucking do. Oh, fuck. I just mind fucking exploded. We were talking to a man who was supposedly from Korea, but I tripped him up and got him to speak Chinese. Fucking Chi-Com confirmed, bro. Oh my god. It's so fucking racist. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. This is so fucking racist. Holy shit. Dog. We tripped up this dude who said he was Korean, but he spoke Chinese. Got him. Fucking got him. Fuck, dog. This is such gold, bro. I need to watch Tucker Carlson more often. This is so fucking good. This is like, that's it. It's me. I'm his viewer. Like, if he was banned off, like, if Tucker gets banned, like, I might make a Rumble account just to watch Tucker. If this is the kind of shit that he's producing, like. No cap. That's I have to. This is just too fucking good, dog. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck did you just say, homie? I'm repeating it. I'm repeating it. Like, I'm sorry. We're getting a recap. Okay? Fuck. Okay.
Michael, who has lived in China, he's been all over the world, and he tried to start up a conversation with a guy who claimed to be from Korea, and Michael tripped him up and got him to speak Chinese, and then there was uproarious laughter.
Fuck. That's so good, bro. That's so good.
In fact, that he had tried to pull this caper on Michael. So.
By the way, do not subscribe to fucking Tucker Carlson. Don't encourage this behavior. Just don't. Like, I'm doing it for the fucking lulz, and just to point out, like, how absurd this is. Neither of these clowns should be taken seriously. They are the most unserious people in the world. The man took a trip to I believe, Panama and Ecuador, right? Those were the places. For research. What kind of research? The migration crisis. What migration crisis? Well, the fact that we're not stopping Haitians from leaving Haiti. Fuck. God damn it. I don't know how much more I could go. This has been a fucking classic so far. Oh, God.
A friendly migration. These Chinese folks who are overwhelmingly male, military age. There are women present. I realized only this morning.
It's a fucking invasion, dog. What the fuck? military age males. Yeah. I mean, bro, I don't know if you know a lot about China, but they had a policy for a really long time. What was it? The one-child policy. So they basically didn't want girls. So like their female to male ratio is just like completely fucked, right? You're not doing anything right now. You're not pointing out like a hidden truth. Like statistically speaking, a group of Chinese migrants is predominantly going to be more male because the demographic of China is predominantly more male. By saying they're military age, so what? What does that mean? They're not fucking military, dog. They're military aged. Like they use that. It's a fucking dog whistle. It's like, but they're scary, bro. No, they're not. They're not. It's just a fucking teenager. That's all he's saying is like a fucking 18, 19-year-old, right? That's not like you're not gonna overrun the country with. Bro, if you think this country, if you think the United States is gonna get overtaken by migrants, I'm sorry. You've not been to Florida. Okay? You've not been to Florida. You've not been to the southern countries, and you've not been to Texas. Right? No, dog. It's not happening. Nobody is fucking invading mainland America, and they're definitely not doing it through migration. People, bro, even if they were military veterans from China, they still want to come here and just live their lives, okay? Most people are not ideologically, like, fucked in the head like you are. They want to just live their lives, right? Like, that's like, bro, my dad's a fucking vet, right? From the Soviet Union. He was literally enlisted in the Soviet Union. Do you need to be like worried about him? He was a fucking Soviet soldier. Not the Soviet Union, but like satellite state. The Czech Československá Socialistická republika. He was enlisted there, and he was in Afghanistan, right? Does that mean that you need to like be worried about him? No, dog. The dude is like, he's pretty fucking shitty. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's a Republican, but like, just because people were in the military or are militarily aged does not mean that they are ideologically just like, boom, Chinese Communist Party, I'm there for it. No, they would stay in China if that was the case, homie. They wouldn't fucking be coming here, okay? And even, I want you to just take a second and recognize that the Chinese Communist Party is not actually communist. It's not. If you are an actual communist in China, you would want to move to a different country so you can be an actual communist, right? Like, the Chinese Communist Party is a state capitalist party. Fuck. Bro. Where are you gonna go with this? Holy shit.
That in thinking back, I saw few, if any, children in the Chinese migration. They were everywhere.
Bro was looking for the kids, homie. He was looking for the kids. Again, not a reporter, guys. Not a fucking reporter. So, out the gate, people don't want to fucking talk to him because he's being fucking weird. And why is he being weird? Maybe that's one of the reasons they don't want to talk to him, because he's running around groups of migrants and going, where's the fucking kids? Where are your kids? I want to see them kids. Holy fucking shit. That's what he's doing. If that's what he's fucking doing, no wonder people are fucking worried and don't want to talk to you, dude. Because you're trying to fucking find their kids.
The other places we visited, but they were not present, as far as I remember, in the San Vicente camp. So, what I have pieced together, and this is
yeah, it's fucking Spetsnaz. That's what it is. Fucking, I'm sorry. That's what it is, homie. You fucking found the secret. You found the secret. This one bus full of migrants is actually just like Chinese special ops, and as soon as they land in America, it's fucking donezo. It's donezo. The union will collapse because as soon as they as soon as their foot touches the soil, it's game over. Like we're just gonna What are you talking about? That's not gonna happen. What are they gonna? They're probably just gonna get a fucking job and just live like a normal person. Ah! It's like you're just worried because you don't want a Chinese neighbor. Again, this is just deep fucking racism.
The place where I'm going to speculate. This is a hypothesis. This is not a conclusion. But what I began to suspect was that the Chinese migration is actually being cloaked by the economic migration coming from South America. And that is consistent with the observation that
it's interconnected, right? It's interconnected. Bro's gonna do a Charlie, right? He's gonna do all the strings, and he's gonna be like George Soros. I swear to God, he's gonna fucking say George Soros. This is it fucking happens. Anytime they go down these fucking paths and start connecting random shit together and like thinking like they said something like, ooh, I just did something right there, then they fucking throw George Soros in there. Like, it's gonna happen.
Has some different motivation. Now, I learned from Michael that the Chinese migrants in the San Vicente camp largely bypassed Darien. Because they have money, they can go by boat and they can skip most of the peril of the Darien Gap. And in any case, it's a very different phenomenon. And to see it housed so separately is quite conspicuous. I do not know what the rationale for this
Can you
is.
estimate, do you have any sense of how many these are Chinese nationals?
They seem to be.
How many did you see, Ish? Talking 60 or 600 or...
It's very hard to say because we were held at one edge of the camp. So I probably saw 150 faces, but the camp is deeper. Michael does some drone reconnaissance, and he's also been to this camp many times. He would definitely be the person to ask in terms of a good estimate for how many of these folks there are. But
Yeah, what a fucking great journalist, by the way, Tucker Carlson is. Like, and by great, I don't mean great. I don't. This is so fucking pathetic. Dog, like, okay, any, like, actual journalist, every 5 seconds should be going, so you're not an actual reporter, right? So you're not an actual reporter, right? So what you're doing is, like, not actually reporting, right? Like, what the fuck are you doing in South America? Why are you harassing people? It's so fucked. The entire thing is so fucked. There's no fucking hard... This is not a hard question. Obviously, Tucker Carlson buys into the framing because he titled the video how China and the UN are fueling the invasion of America. Bro, come on. Could you be at least a little critical? Could you do, like, any, like, actual journalism? Like, any, like, you know, like the thing where journalists push back on the shit that you're saying, that you're claiming, and just like, because again, you don't have hard evidence. He took a vacation to South America and came back and said, I found a fucking conspiracy, and Tucker's just like, fucking full send, bro. This is like, let's do it. Let's run with it. You don't want to ask me any, like, clarifying questions? Nah. Like, the extent of Tucker's questioning is, that was pretty crazy, though, right? He's fucking basically Joe Rogan at this point. Holy shit.
The degree to which this is not consistent with well, let me back up a second. I regard the Chinese people as victims of an oppressive government that I fear for my own reasons.
For sure.
So there's nothing about the fact that these folks are Chinese that throws me. And if they were fleeing that government, I'm not sure what we should do about it, but I'm certainly supportive of their
You would feel
desire.
sympathy.
I would feel a great deal.
I don't believe you.
Deal of sympathy, and in fact, I felt a great deal of sympathy for all of the other migrants that I met. But the sense,
No, he fucking didn't. Everything that he said up to this point tells me that he feels absolutely no sympathy for these people at all. Like, this is just like and obligatorily, I'm a bleeding heart liberal fucking part of it, right? It's why fucking liberals, dog. Like, like he might actually convince some liberals with this. Like, you'd have to be like really low IQ of a liberal to actually buy into this shit. Like, if you are legitimately a liberal, you are a left-leaning liberal, and you actually buy into this shit, you are just stupid. That's just, I'm sorry. This is, he has no sympathy for these people.
it's really hard not to use the term hostility that I felt from the Chinese was particularly unsettling given...
I feel so bad for them, but they're so aggressive, right? Like, he couldn't even pretend to feel sympathy without making it obvious that he doesn't have any sympathies for these people, because he just had to fucking add into it. But they're fucking aggressive. They're kind of scary. They were pretty mean to me. Like, come on, dog. You couldn't even pretend to be a lib for more than fucking 10 seconds.
And that I know where they're headed. Right? They're headed to the U.S.
And just to be totally clear on that point, this was not a work camp for a, Chinese infrastructure project.
No, it was not. And
Bro, I can't. Like, that statement just on its own. What the fuck? Bro. So this fucking random made up bullshit that you're spitting, this fucking from Tucker Carlson's perspective. So this fire that you're spitting, you're dropping mad bars right now. Do you think also that, like, it's an even deeper conspiracy? It's not just them trying to get into America and steal our jobs. They're building fucking tunnels. They're building fucking Hamas tunnels. they're trying to take over South America too. They're trying to in-China-fy the world. God damn it. No. Bro. Okay, to be fair, I did say earlier, Tucker, you're really not pushing back on any of this shit. And it's like he heard me psychically and went, but wait, I could do the opposite of pushing back on any of this. Fuck me, dude. What? Why? What? I'm gonna make myself really sad right now. 57,000 people like this. Fuck, this is 500,000 people have seen this shit. Oh, God. Bro, this is fucking rough, dog. This is so fucking bad. I'm gonna have to cut into this so much, because I honestly think there are parts of this that are just blatantly fucking racist that I don't think I can actually play. Holy shit. Fuck.
And what I know is taking place at the southern border of the U.S. Makes this even more disturbing, because although the controls at the southern border are still there for those of us who are crossing legally, the lack of any control for those who are crossing...
The lack of any control. We need more barbed wire razors in the rivers. Fucking ghoul.
...is stunning. So if I may just compare, when I came back...
It's Dog! The lack of controls on the borders is stunning. Homie, they're putting fucking barrels with barbed wire on it in rivers to drown children in Texas right now. And he thinks that's not enough. It's not strong enough. The border security that we got is not harsh enough. Oh my God. What the fuck? What's wrong with him?
I approached a kiosk with my passport ready to scan it. I didn't have to. A camera took my picture, and although I didn't know that my picture was about to be taken, I hadn't taken my hat off, I was wearing my glasses, the kiosk told me I didn't need to put my passport there, and then a customs officer behind me called my name, Bret. He said, "Do you have anything to declare?" I said, "No." He said, "You're good to go." So we have technology that is capable of identifying a person with that level of ease to the point that they knew exactly who was coming through the border. But we are not apparently taking that information when people cross our southern border. What we're doing at most is asking them their name and their birth date.
Okay. All right. So the only reasonable thing for a person to say to not sound like a complete psychopath is to go, so we should just start letting people in through the regular border and stop forcing them to cross illegally. We should ease immigration so we can keep better track of them. You know, so we know who's who and get them their documentation. That's the only reasonable thing you can say. If you say anything beyond that, you're a fucking psychopath.
And taking them at their word.
But no biometric collection?
Apparently not. Which means that, you know, even if this were simply a matter of our system being overwhelmed by migrants, you would at least want to collect that information so that if a troublemaker did come through, which is inevitable that they will, you can begin to figure out who it might be, right? So that, you know, they had an identity, even if it was just connected to biometric data, that would be useful. But
those ruffians coming in and working on our farm fields. Oh, those rascals.
We're not doing it. So, what?
Liberal, by the way. I want to say, despite that being the only non-psychotic thing that he could have said, what I said, it's still an authoritarian state. You're still doing, like, extreme authoritarianism when you do that from somebody that claims to be a progressive and liberal, and I believe libertarian, right? Aren't those people in those categories not cool with, like, aggressive government oversight, like collecting people's biometric data and stuff? Not when it's immigrants. It's like, no, I don't want my data collected. But them migrants, though. Fucking hell.
What I think I saw, my hypothesis for what I think I saw is that there is an invasion taking place. You know, it's not a sleeper cell because it's on the move, but I started to think of them as sleepwalkers. And there's also a massive migration, and the migration is causing us to have difficulty discussing the invasion, which is a distinct phenomenon.
And different simply.
The invasion is a distinct phenomenon. Dude, I don't know how much longer I can do this. This is fucking bad. This is so bad. These people are fucking psychos. What the fuck? God damn. Oh, no. No, dog. What the fuck?
From desperate peasants from poor countries coming here for work.
There was no desperation in evidence, and Michael also gave us a video, which I can't establish the origin of, but it is a Chinese cartoon.
What the fuck?
Set to
What the fuck? What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Bro, what are you doing? Why? Why would you play that? Oh, oh no, dog, we are not even halfway through. No. Oh god, this is torture. Oh man, I'm torturing myself watching this. This is just getting so worse. We're getting so hardcore into conspiracy territory here. This is like full-on brainworm territory. Holy shit.
Of a migrant moving through Central America, changing modes of transportation, and it basically indicates here's the route you will travel. Now, was it produced by the CCP? I can't be certain of it.
Fuck! Who made this little video that I'm playing? Was it the CCP? Hard to say. He's not a fucking reporter. He's not a journalist. He's not a reporter, guys. He's not. But, like, I can't claim that it was the CCP, but maybe. Maybe. I don't know. It's pretty convincing. You got fucking dude with the little bat. He's got the Explorer cap. That's awesome. Fuck. Who made this fucking video? Shh. I don't know. I can't say the Chinese Communist Party, but I'd like to. Fuck, dog. You can actually say, you can just claim that shit, by the way. You can just make that claim because you live in America. Like, what is the Chinese government going to do to you? Like, ain't shit they can do. I mean, it's an ass pull. Like, you're making that shit up, but you can say it. You don't have to be such a bitch about it. Fuck.
But that certainly is suggestive that this is a message.
He's fucking on a motorcycle now. That's so good. Oh, I love that. I love that.
About how to make this journey, for what purpose I don't know, but I do not believe that the people I encountered had left China without the knowledge of their government. I believe their government has some reason to have facilitated.
But the administration...
God, it's like, I can't, like, 5 seconds later. Oh, fuck. Oh, man, I think I'm psychic now. Because, like, as soon as he's gonna say that the Chinese government, we don't know where this video came from, but probably China. The government. Like, and then he says it. It's like, okay, at least you weren't being a bitch about it. That's cool, dog. That's awesome. But, that's fucking crazy. That's so fucking wild. Alright, let's see how hard Tucker pushes back on this. I bet he pushes back on this. You gotta push back on it. Dude, this is too fucking wild. You can't... Actually, what am I saying? You put the video in your video. This is Tucker's fucking show. Of course he's not gonna push back on this. Ah, fuck. Okay.
You must be aware of this.
Our administration?
Yes.
It is, but here's the problem I've been wrestling with.
The pushback was, oh, we gotta be aware of this. The U.S. government has to be... Bro, the U.S. government knows everything that's going on in the world. There is nothing that they are not aware of, okay? It's you who doesn't know what the fuck is going on. Fuck.
It used to be that it was hard to convince people that our system was deeply corrupt. Back in the days when those of us who were focused on this issue used to talk about campaign finance reform.
Right.
It was a problem, that you could grapple with. It was of that scale. Now we have, it's like a whole different level of corruption, right? And
it's so much more corrupt now because of Biden. He's not gonna say it, but we know that's what he wants to say. He wants to just be like, Biden is the ultimate corrupter. He wants to do it. He can't. I mean, he can. He might. Like, that would be so fucking lit if that he's like, Man, it used to be financial campaign corruption, and then Biden took over and fucking he made it mega corruption.
Here's the question that I've never heard a good answer to. What stops our enemies internationally from buying influence over our system in the same way that corporations do and did? I can't think of anything, and I've never...
That's a wonderful point. That's a wonderful point. I wonder, when Donald Trump was president, did he have, I don't know, any holdings, any property in countries like China or Russia? Like, could that have influenced him at all? I don't know. It was like, I was just like a wild thought that I had. I don't know. Is it possible? Maybe. Oh. No, yes, of course it is. That's why the dude's on trial, like, all the time. Are you gonna say Donald Trump? He's not gonna say Donald Trump. He's not gonna do it. Like, it's yes, there's corrupt people in government. Or were in government. There still are. But, like, we know who they are, dog. Fuck.
Never heard
Patriotism?
Right.
Sorry, just kidding.
I don't think there is any such safeguard. And if there is such a safeguard, I would like to know how often it has been triggered. Certainly our...
Bro, Donald Trump is getting hit with lawsuits left and right for all kinds of shit. Like, fuck. There is a safeguard. He's been criminally charged with a lot of shit. Like, it. Yeah. What are you talking about? I mean, I'm concerned too, because, like, he's getting criminally charged with shit. Like, he left classified documents in his fucking Malibu beach house or some shit. Not Malibu beach house, the fucking Mar-a-Lago beach house. Or Mar-a-Lago golf resort. He left them just out in the open. In the guest bathroom. Alright? How is he not in jail? You're right. How is he not in jail? I don't know, dog. Like, I feel like he should be in jail. That is correct. You are correct. Something needs to be done about that. But I don't think that's the point that he's trying to make. I don't think that's where he's going to go with that.
Enemies will have noticed that we have a system that's pay for play. And it's certainly, I mean, it's perfectly in keeping with Sun Tzu, at the very least. It would be far cheaper, easier, safer from their perspective to persuade us to harm ourselves than to go to war with us. So, again, I don't know. I'm about...
What are you talking about? Bro. Like, you're... He's alluding to, like, conspiracy, like, these are things in the background, they could be doing this. But you don't have to do that. Republicans are getting caught with this shit all the time. Like, constantly. Like, you could just point to it and go, that's the bad thing. That's right there. That's the bad thing. You could just point to Donald Trump. Just point to him and go, there it is. Corruption right there. And it's not being punished. You just do that. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why don't you do that? Why are you making a conspiracy? Because it's his guy. It's his guy. It's his special guy. He doesn't want to implicate his special guy. Because he's a liberal, you see. And a progressive, you see. Famously, progressives have a hard time talking about how corrupt Donald Trump is.
This is not my...
You're an observer of things. That's what the study of biology is, right?
It is, and unfortunately this is the most parsimonious explanation for what I've seen now, is that somebody has persuaded us to endorse a policy that is decidedly not in our interest.
Yes and no. The policy, okay. So it is in the interests of corporations for people to be here undocumented and illegal and able to be deported. Because they can exploit the shit out of them by doing that, right? That is in the interests of corporations. It's not necessarily in the interest of human rights. It's not a very good policy in terms of, like, I don't know, making the world, people in general, better. Like, I don't know, man. Like, if you honestly believe that it should be the role of our government and the role of our country to just have supremacy over the entire world, just like be literally at the top and dominating everybody else, then I don't have an argument for you other than you're wrong. Like, that's just morally not the way you should be looking at the world, right? I don't know. That's all I can do for you. Like, I'm not going to convince you that, like, that's an economically bad thing to do, because it's not necessarily an economically bad thing to do, because for those corporations, they're making a fucking killing, right? So I don't know if that's where your position is. I don't know where to go from there. It's wrong. It's a wrong thing to do, though. Like, you should care that that's happening to human beings.
And I will also say that I've become aware in the process of doing this that the Chinese have a rather famous plan for the world called the Belt and Road Initiative, in which they have scoped out where the resources are and how they're to get from one.
Yeah, famously, the United States doesn't have any kind of imperialist plans for the world. You know, we're not currently in the Middle East just fucking shit up like for the past 30 fucking years. Famously, the United States has absolutely no imperialist ambitions. Like, yes, countries do imperialism. Yeah, you're right. That fucking sucks, dog. So, tell me how you want to make the workers of the world unite and, like, throw away the shackles of oppression. Please, fucking, regale me with that. That's not gonna fucking happen. Jesus.
To another. What many people who know about the Belt and Road Initiative don't know is that they have also, the Belt and Road Initiative is largely about Africa and Asia.
Yes.
But apparently there's been a considerable amount of thinking in China about how Belt and Road would work in the New World as well.
And it's in full operation.
Okay, we're done. We're done. This is not a reporter. He's not a reporter. This is not actual news. This is wild ass pulls and just far left field conspiracy theory. This is insane. God damn. How does anybody take these people seriously? That's fucking wild, dog. I'm fucking done. That's it. Dunzo. We're out. All right. Have a good one. Peace.